Okay. Yeah, okay. I have to tell myself now, don't be depressed. Don't be depressed. Don't be depressed. Be happy. It's a podcast. Everyone's happy on podcasts, aren't they? That's what they do. They're happy.
Sure. Sure they are. Just two not depressed people.
No, just talking
two
happy
people talking about their happy lives.
We're all happy here right now, aren't we? Oh, God, we're going to try and not talk about depression. Okay, we'll do it. This is the next episode of Comedy Guy. I finally have Ann Vaida here in the studio with me. Thank you for coming in, Ann.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. I know I've totally left this open. I haven't given you topics. I haven't said what the fuck we're going to talk about. We're just going to chat about what's up, comedy.
I have no idea how long it is. What's the
hour. We're going to go for an hour.
Okay, there we go.
It's easy. So
some details. Yeah, good.
No, it's great because usually if it was some other guest, I'd be like, okay, here's the plan. Here's how long it's going to take.
Okay.
Because you're a comedian, I was like, we'll just talk.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out. But okay, that's true. Planning.
Immense trust in me. Let's
call it
risky.
Let's call it trust in Ann. Yeah, it wasn't just my bad planning, really, I think. But, hey, we can get it through. I'm doing some more online podcasts now.
What are you doing?
On retro gaming.
Oh, wow.
And so now I have a regular weekly one that I do. I have a podcast, a regular weekly one now, and it talks about old CRT TVs, like Kinoscope TVs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Remember those old ones? The big old ones back in the day?
Yeah.
Whole podcast is about that.
Didn't know there's that much to cover.
Oh, it's a huge thing. And the guy that I'm doing it with, he's like the expert on these things, on the TVs right now. And we have all kinds of nerds that watch this, and I love it. We talk about that.
Strange.
We've all got them. We repair them. He's like a main repair guy, and we talk about all the various issues that goes with running one of these old TVs.
Do you still have one?
Yeah, many, a whole bunch of them.
Did not expect that from you.
So I have regular ones, like ones that people might have had in their home, consumer sets, as we say in the trade.
Yeah.
And then I know I'm getting to the shop talk. And then we also have professional ones as well. So TV studios, like now an editing studio would have a professional monitor, where they were equivalent professional monitors back in the day.
Yeah.
So I have some of those, and all those professional Sony monitors, how you BVMs, PVMs, how you fix them, how you work on them, how you play retro games on them.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby, right? It's a whole every Monday we talk about that shit with my friend Steve, and then I'm also interviewing other retro gaming people online, but it's all online, so you've got to sit at home and wait to some obscure hour for the time zone or something like that. They're usually away, so. I like doing that stuff. It does leave you a little bit more isolated, like any content. If you're just making content, then you feel a bit isolated, even though it seems like you're doing lots. Oh, look at that video. And the person put out that video. They're doing
it's just you doing stuff on your own mostly, I think, yeah.
So what do you do? What's your day-to-day? You don't have to mention the company, but...
I work in communication, so I do PR, essentially.
Okay.
Write some press releases, write Facebook posts,
okay,
and everything in between.
All right, so
content
anything
marketing, stuff like that.
Content. So is that where
that's where you pay for the article, and people get a small notification that it's a paid article, and you say your thing's there for money.
Right, and so is that? But it would be so the platform that it goes to is a regular platform.
Yeah,
like
yeah. So you have this sisuturundus small, like it's an ad thing written in the corner. Sometimes I write those as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's creating mostly text-based things.
Okay, so writing them so it's not an article, but it'll be a smaller thing.
No, it's an article.
Oh, okay, it's an article, right? Okay.
You don't know what content marketing is?
No, deliberately, I don't know what content marketing is. I don't think I want any.
Yeah,
I don't think that's something for me.
If you start noticing it, it's oh my god, it's everywhere.
So it's if you see an article, but it's like says that it's paid or sponsored or something
sponsored
like that.
articles essentially.
Okay, and so the company can pay to have that on Delphi or another platform or something like that, and they need someone to write it. Yeah. And so it could also be Facebook posts or other social media posts. And all right. Do you? It's interesting because it's something that I don't know anything about, and I'm not sure I want to, and I'm not sure I want to know anything about this advertising world either. Sometimes I wonder, is that truly me, or do I just think, oh, I'm a massive hipster? If I'd be like, no, I don't want to know about your marketing. Oh God, your marketing. Here I am making shitty videos about CRT TV, Kinoscope television. So what do I know, right?
I think that's. I think it's a boring world. In a sense that it's like big companies who don't have they don't need anyone to do it from their house, like in-house writing. So they pay us to do it, and it's in that sense it's like it's not exciting. There's not that much happening. It's a regular job, but I think your old small televisions it's a cooler thing to do if you're interested in it and so on.
Well, maybe if it pays anyway, but at least that's a job that pays. That's good. That's nice.
Yeah, there's the.
Okay, so do you work for a company, or are you more like freelance doing different things?
In a company, yeah.
Okay, working for a company, sure. All right, that's cool. I mean, be able to at least you get to write. At least you get to try.
There's some skills that I learn every day, and that's the cool part, I think.
Okay, so what are those skills? Like the target, of being very precise and find like.
Yeah, how do you say things as quickly and concisely as you can is the main thing that I've taken away from it mostly.
Okay.
Like, and you find the. You find the sharp edge of a topic, like something to focus on, and finding these things out and figuring out what people might want to read and so on. That's a really useful skill in comedy as well.
Sure.
So that's like a cool thing to learn. You think you're really good at writing, and then you realize, oh no, I was not good at all.
So how does that balance off then? Look, I understand that's a job and that's what you're doing, and you need to, the information's coming. How does it, I'm trying to balance off the skills of like, there's general, like what a journalist does. So you have to write on that topic. The journalist is supposed to have some sort of, about the news, or supposed to have some sort of intent or impartiality. I'm going to find the real truth here or something like that.
Yeah, it's a partial journalist, essentially.
Kind of, because you say, it's just you
partial.
Yeah,
because it's there's even like a saying in the trade that there's like opposite sides of the
coin.
What's in war, the opposite sides of
trenches. Trench, okay.
Yeah, so it's like you have journalists on one side and communication in the other, and then usually the switch usually goes that usually journalists at one point they feel like they want to do something else, they switch over to communication, and everyone's like, they went with the enemy.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's the big sellout. Okay, not like I'm sure keeping it real journalist at Postimis these days. All right, you're really in it for the true love of the journalism.
Definitely, yeah. More integral,
Yeah, right. I know. I'm not sure the true concept of journalism exists at big media houses anymore, but okay, if you can say that, I'm working for Postimis, no, therefore I'm keeping it real. Okay, buddy. All right.
Yeah, I don't really see it that way as well. Yeah.
Right. I would say, those lines are very blurred these days. Yeah. I was thinking about like the story Daniel told that when he was working at, I don't know, which one of it was, which media house it was, but like it's pretty common that they have like a board up and it's like the hits that each article's getting today. And so it's like a score tally or something of what's been put out today and where it's at, and like
that's everyone has them.
Right. Okay. So that's a fairly common thing.
Yeah, in every like media house, we don't know how our articles or like press releases are doing, but they know. So they keep that info to themselves. But yeah, it's click-based, and everyone wants to have a popular article, and that's why you start making ethical sacrifices sometimes if you're a journalist, I think.
But not you as a content marketer, right?
No,
so
because I don't have ethical standpoints. I have actually worked as a journalist, but it was entertainment journalism, which there is no consequences there. It's just fun.
Sure. And also, I guess it's not like what I was going to say. Lushenko in Belarus is coming to you asking for an article. Please, Anne, please write me a nice article about my Belarusian regime. No, it's the coffee company. I don't know. I'm guessing here, right? I don't know. It's someone selling coffee. It's someone selling TV or something. All right, fine. It's not like a massive.
Well, there are companies that also do that probably.
Oh, okay. No doubt. Okay,
yeah, definitely. But it's not me.
It's like the black market of communications or something. It's like
I mean, sure.
There's the black market for all the sorts of things, and so and you can help dictators get by, and
I assume it exists.
it must exist. I'm sure it's there.
Definitely.
That's a job. Sure, that's someone's job. But
yeah.
All right. So because all the articles these days, it is all. I mean, it's all about the clicks. And I mean, I guess it's not even hidden for a long time, right?
Oh,
That's
no.
not like we just need to get clicks, so more advertising, so you can continue to have a job. All right.
So it's a bleak way of looking at it. I mean, there are definitely, there's a bunch of journalists who actually do their job really well and so on. But at some points I see that you have to like put a story out really quickly, just with like three sentences and finish it with a sentence saying like this story shall be updated as soon as we can and so on. So there's a lot of these things that happen with online media that make it shittier.
Yeah, I wonder how then. And when you said like there's probably some journalists who do that, my first guess and the first thing I came to was, well, they're probably experienced journalists.
Yeah.
Sure. So then I wonder, how do you get
there?
How do you get to be an experienced journalist these days if junior journalists are just thrown in and have to write clickbait? You got to do something else.
But I think it depends on there's like different media houses as well. So you have Postimees and Delfi, but there's also you have ERR, you have Äripäev, you have Genius. So you have these places where you can like not do that as well that much. I think I'm not that familiar. I haven't worked in like them.
Okay,
so
but it's not just the big two. Okay,
yeah.
there are places.
So I think
to
there are
establish
places to
yourself.
like actually, yeah.
Okay, so you want to hopefully, well, sure, okay. Maybe is the way you can, or maybe you just like writing clickbait articles and
Some
you're a
people
journalist.
like it actually.
Right on,
I mean, I would love to write articles like 5 shittiest houses in Tallinn to buy. It's a good, interesting thing to write.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'm not really that into like commenting on who wore it best, but like weird 5 best things articles are so fun.
Yeah.
There's no consequences to it.
Okay.
So like if you do it like that, then you know that your job is to produce clickbait, and it's funny, and it's then because it's a pointless article and everyone who clicks on it knows it's pointless. Then maybe it's even more fun because then you have to be really good with your words to make sure people read until the end and so on. And
okay.
so it's like a challenge, I think.
Okay,
I would like to write clickbait articles. Yes, so we've reached.
I feel like that could be the title on the thumbnail of this video. I would like to write clickbait articles, says Ann Vaida.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Look, it makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I never thought, I'm not a very good writer, or I'm not very good at using my writing skills or sitting down and really focusing on anything in particular for a long period of time. So do you get that? Like, okay, one thing I do think is really important in any work day for any creative job is like free time. Spaces of time, uninterrupted time. And that the only way to get any good work is uninterrupted work. That's like, yes, there's sometimes we have to be busy. There's sometimes we have to handle a million things. But the real part, and it's something that I'm trying to do with my colleagues at Comedy Estonia, is get them to understand, like, I'm not really paying you to run around and do a crazy million things. Well, somewhat, yes. What I'm actually need from you, the best work I will get from you, is that time when you're sitting and thinking, that deep work time, that time when it's not interrupted, where there's not a million things going on, because that's when you're going to have the real big insights. That's when you're going to have the real big thoughts, set a direction, and then, okay, then you know where you're going. Then you can go and do a million crazy things for the next day or something like that. But that deep time, how do you do that? Do you consciously try and find deep time when you're writing, or are you able to just knock them out?
It depends on the topics. I think with comedy it's harder. For like literally just writing jokes is harder than writing as a job thing, because as a job you don't have to be that clever, and people don't appreciate it if you're that clever, because you have to write to a specific style of journalism, essentially. So I do it more with stand-up, that I deliberately, I think like, okay, so I have this topic, I really want something good on it, and then I I like force myself to think about it until it becomes too hard, and then I'm like, no, you still have to think a bit more now, because that's when the jokes actually come, I think.
How long does that take?
It depends.
Okay, good.
It's a short time. It's not like 3 hours. It's like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Which is a really long time to think about like trams.
Sure.
So it's I don't know if that's like a way to do it, but that's something I've started doing recently.
Okay,
it seems to be working out.
You're trying to, as long as you can, as long as, again, humanly possible with talking about trams or one topic, to force yourself, to push yourself to stay on that topic.
Yeah, I start thinking about like, okay, so what are they? How does it work? What's special about it? What's not special about it? So I just like roll the topic through my mind as much as I can, and then when it starts to feel like, okay, so I've thought about it too much now, I'm like, okay, now let's find some jokes.
Okay.
So that's something I started doing. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. I
think that's like somehow like deep thought.
Right, almost like a brainstorming time, some idea generation phase of that, and you naturally roll into that. Think about, so you've got it may or may not be trams. It might even be, I happen to be on a tram. It's not like
whatever.
It's not like Ann's doing that tram material. Like she got 20 minutes just about the tram. Okay, here's the technicals. Right, you're riding a tram, so we want to know every permutation of what could happen in that moment, or things that could go down in about 20 minutes. Do you, when you write, even let's say comedy or for work, do you have a habit where you take the phone away, turn off notifications? Do you have something like that you do?
I don't have any of my notifications on at any point.
Good.
My phone is constantly on silent.
I like it, yes.
I recently started using Do Not Disturb.
Okay, great.
And I only have a few people who call me anyway, and if it's not the right time to call me, I just don't answer. So a few years ago, I just turned off all of the notifications.
Do it. That's great. I love that.
It's a really good thing to do. Yeah. Because I was managing like a few Facebook pages, and they would constantly get notification. I was like, oh my God, no. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. And it doesn't matter whether I open it up now or 15 minutes later. So it's all shut down. So essentially, I do it, but permanently.
Good. I do that as well.
I just constantly ignore everyone.
I do it as well. I don't want anybody to call me. People still try and call me. And
no.
A lot of times I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I've had this discussion with my boss as well. So we had like some factual mistake in one of the press releases, and someone had already put it up. And then my boss said like, hey, find out who the editor of the day is, call them and ask them to maybe change it. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna call them. I'll send them an email and give them a half an hour, because that's usually how long it takes. And I realized like there's a lot of people who don't like telephones. It's not that special. So probably like some journalists even.
I bet a lot of journalists, they're probably getting hit up by people.
Yeah, so like I'd rather them see the email and take their time when they want to, not just like get a phone call like, hey, please change this.
Right.
It's sort of annoying probably.
It is. It's because you're interrupting their day.
Yeah.
They might be doing something.
Yeah.
Like even now, I mean, I guess that idea of that phone has changed recently as well, because now it's like an interruption device. And I don't, it used to be like, no, this is the way you're going to call me. Just call me and you can get hold of me. But now it's an interruption device.
Yeah, because you're constantly connected and yeah. So usually when I do want to make a phone call, I write in advance. Hey, can you talk right now?
I do this as well. I'm not real good at calling people up cold. My friends know that I don't call anybody. So like Merrily knows that when I call, something's up. Something's really up. And she'll be like, what? What is it? What's up? What's up? Yeah, I get that. You don't, I also don't, I only use Do Not Disturb at night, but I'm always on silent as well. I found out, yes.
Sometimes
it was Daniel who changed the carpet. Fuck Daniel. Yeah, I'm going to get him for that. Don't worry. So, yes, just plotting against Daniel in the background here. Phone down. And, of course, Saddam Hussein phone case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
just
why not?
just to let people know, like, no. Stay away.
So I was in, I'm kind of come back to this, but I was in Turkey, walking around the Grand Bazaar, the markets there, full of crap, mostly full of shit. Have you been there? Have you been to Istanbul? Mostly full of shit though. Very pressure heavy people. Come, you must buy, come buy this thing. And it's like from AliExpress sort of thing. But there's this, and the one guy who's got a machine that will make it'll print on your phone case while you wait. And I thought, okay, that's very interesting. And then for some reason, the dude has this like exact Saddam Hussein phone case just sitting on the counter there as one of his advertising props.
Yeah.
Like maybe you might like Manchester United football. Maybe you want Britney Spears. Maybe you want Saddam Hussein on the back of your phone case. And
but you did.
Well, yeah, I walked by and I went, I never knew I want that before. Now I know that's exactly what I need in my life is a Saddam Hussein phone case.
Yeah.
So I went to the guy and said, just give me one of those. And he went, okay. And I was like, why? I was like, so, and I didn't, but then I got really weird about it. I didn't know how to ask. So why
this?
why you got that? And he was like trying to explain he was a Syrian and he's an immigrant from Syria. And then I didn't know how far to go. Like, oh, is that because you're wait, I forget which one Saddam is. Is he a Kurd or is he the other one or the Shia and the Sunni? Oh, I don't know anything about this. So I was like, oh, maybe there are some, is he the Sunni? And then they also have the Sunnis in Syria. So he loves Saddam, but you wouldn't love Saddam if you lived where Saddam was. So what's up with that? Look, the mystery, it remains a mystery as to why Saddam, I didn't get it, but he was Syrian. So if you call me racist, I'll be like, no, you're offending this poor Syrian man.
Yeah, it's authentic.
Yeah, right. Deep work. It's important to have long stretches of uninterrupted time. Right, that bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're able to do it. So when you're creating. I'm creating my stand-up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hours on end, but there are these periods where. So mostly we're not being interrupted anyway. Mostly Ann's day, but there's interruption, and then there's like how to say my phone doesn't have to go off, but it's still sitting right there. And you see even that when I saw the pop up from it was a notification, but even then I still think oh, I'm bored after 10 minutes. I want to look at something else.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm on Twitter all of the time.
Okay. But do you then put your phone away?
No.
Or no, you're fine. 20 minutes you can do it and then you're like, time to check.
Yeah, I just distract myself. I'm really bad at so I don't let others distract me, but I myself, I have, there's no rules. There's no holding back. I am constantly doing other things I'm not supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And that's probably the bigger problem than people.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I'm not learning Estonian. I'm going to Estonian classes and I try to study every morning and write a little bit and then I try to write, but I get distracted because I'm like, oh, I'll have to, because what I have to do, the only way I can write is first thing I get up, I write a little diary. Dear diary, how do I feel today? You should try it. It's great. And then before I even look at my phone, before I open the computer, before I do anything, just me and the coffee. And then the only way I've been able to do Estonian study is to roll straight into that before I look at my phone, before I open the computer. Otherwise, I'm done.
Because then you're on it for half an hour.
Yep, you get lost.
And then you're like, oh no, I'll just get another coffee.
Get another coffee. Oh, I'll come back to it later in the day. I'm never sitting down.
An hour and a half has passed. Still at it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and you feel like,
well,
I kind of looked at 4 questions in half an hour, so it's probably enough. I can convince myself. So I've got to right. But then sometimes, like this morning, the Estonian material I need is in the computer from yesterday's lesson. Oh, I'm gonna have to open the computer, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
So I managed to get through it today, only just, but it's a struggle, right?
How's it going? Okay.
It's difficult. It's difficult, and it's difficult for me to study. It's difficult for me to get in the mindset. It's also difficult because I'm a horrible overanalyzer. So I don't know, am I doing fine? Is it fine? Am I up to the right level? Do I know enough as the other students? Clearly not as some of the other students in my class, but I'm definitely not the slowest. So, okay. Am I not putting in enough work? My parents are going through my brain. Do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. are the frustrations that I'm feeling normal? Or should I just be putting in more work and doing this? It's freaking me out. So I don't know how to say it's going fine, or whether these struggles that I'm having, and she'll be like, what is the partitive of that word? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, what's the part? I'm like, I don't know. What's the ma and da version of something? There's raki ma and raki da. Okay. And and there's a rule, and then I have a blank. So the teacher will say something like, we're talking about counting. Okay, say it's me. Okay, 7th, right? Fine. She's like, well, say a sentence. Well, you got 7 of something. Use a sentence where you're counting 7. And I'm like, I just have blank. Like I have performance pressure in class, not about the Estonian, about coming up with a scenario that includes, I have 7 Saddam Hussein phone cases. Like, I don't know. I have 7, and because everyone else like, I have 7 pens, I have 7 cars, I don't know, like I have 7 horses or something. I don't know. And then my brain is trying to think up. No, don't just say 7 pens. Everyone, don't say 7 pencils. Say something more interesting. And then and then I get blank, and the teacher's like, So I've noticed the teacher has started to prompt me. Not just like say something, she like say 7 cars. And I'm like, oh, okay. That I can say. Okay, say something. Tell me what to translate and I can translate it. But original thought as well as Estonian is too much.
Too much altogether. Okay.
Too much.
Yeah.
And Zoom classes. Have you had any foreign friends of yours try to learn Estonian? Have you witnessed that process?
Not really, no.
Okay.
It seems like, because I remember we did study Estonian grammar in school, but that was such a while back that now if you say like particle or whatever it was, stuff like that, I get completely lost. I'm like, I don't think it's a thing. And if you would ask like, why does this happen grammatically or something, I'd be like, I don't know.
Who knows?
It just happens.
I can't tell you in English either.
Yeah.
I mean, we specifically did not learn grammar. I do not know grammar beyond noun and verb.
Yeah, I mean, we did learn it for some reason. I don't know why, because you speak it without it anyway. But yeah.
To be good Estonians, I can imagine that there's such a we're so blasé, ironically to use a French term, about our English language, especially in Australia, that you could completely be like, no, you don't need to learn the grammar, mate. Just learn how to speak, mate. You'll be right. Just speak. Or I can imagine here in Estonia, the proud Estonian language, the fine, the sacred, the in danger. Could go away at any moment. Who knows? So we need to learn. There's
definitely that threat, I think.
Some
but also,
feeling,
there's that imminent threat of it going extinct, but also like commas are really hard.
Commas?
Yeah. So
in Estonian?
So you have to know a bunch of rules to know where they go.
Because you can... Okay, here's one thing I do remember, is that word order often not so important.
Not at all, no. It's really weird, because I used to think that Yoda speaks like poetically, not wrong. I thought he was just being poetic, because that's how most Estonian poems are. And I had this discussion with an English friend, and he was like, no, he's just wrong. It's because in my head it's not wrong, because that's how. But you can do that to sentences in Estonian. So yeah, right you are is not. It's not wrong for me. Sure. So it was really weird. Yeah.
All right. So then, knowing where to put it, you're gonna have to put them in a certain order to know where the comma goes in that sentence.
I guess. I guess there's like just a bunch of things that you have to know to actually spell things correctly or like sentence it somehow. But yeah, commas. Most people don't know where they go. Yeah, they're strange.
So class is going okay. So twice a week, hour and a half each time. I guess it's not that long, really. That's the thing. I'm like, and it's not very intense. And there's also the thing of like breaking out of my English bubble. And there's enough Estonian around me. I dare say I have been exposed to much more Estonian than any of my classmates from the sheer amount of time that I've been and the sheer amount of time that, most of my friends are are Estonian. So the sheer amount of time that I've been exposed to Estonian, listened to Estonian. And I think that's the only thing that's dragging me through right now.
Yeah.
Just 10 years of just passively listening to it that I can sometimes say like, oh, that sounds right or that doesn't sound right. Mm-hmm. So I can do that a little bit. Yeah. Right. Oh, that.
Intuition.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of intuition that can go on, which is, I don't know. Still makes me feel uneasy because in my mind I should be like, no, I got to know these grammar rules. And even the teacher's like, don't worry about it.
Not really, no. I don't think so. Yeah. As long as people understand you, I think.
That's what I've heard. But sure. So... yeah, that there's the grammar rules and they're hard. And then I talk to one and they're like, don't worry about the grammar. Just say the thing. And I was like, but then I'll say something. They're like, what? I'm like, you want to believe that it's easy to just mumble out something. I think there's something as well that maybe this is changing over time, but something I've noticed that English I'm used to hearing spoken in many weird ways. That is the diversity of the international language of English, but and in many different accents. But I suspect that Estonians are not as used to hearing Estonian fucked up, twisted, weird accents or something
definitely,
like that.
I think so, yeah. So it's, I think that's why we're like, oh, what are you saying?
No, just say to me, the grammar doesn't matter. And then I'll be like, tere, minu nimi on Lewis. And they're like, what? Are you speaking Latvian to me? What? Minu nimi on this? What did you just say? Like, fine. Okay, I appreciate that. But, and also my accent is not as good as I think it is in my head. Again, because I think I just passively listen to everyone. So I feel like I can say that. It sounds fine in my head. And then I say it in class. I'm like, oh God, I'm just brutalizing every sentence that I say. Whew. Wait, I think I opened that window and now it's cold. I'm going to go, I'm cold. Oh, so comedy. Now we're coming up to we're calling it Odeon. I don't know, what are we calling it? Tallinn Comedy Week. I think we're now doing.
So we're making it sound like a festival,
right? But not using the F word.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not using the F word. That's
Comedy
not good.
Week. All right.
Right. So the way that came about, it was going to be Odeon Comedy Week, I think.
Tallinn sounds so much more grandiose.
And then Tallinn does, but then we're like,
so much better.
Oh, does that sound like the other fucking thing?
But there's the other thing. I was just going to say that there used to be another thing.
Right. The thing that Porta did years ago a few times, but that was Tallinn, Andros Porta.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who did that? But that was Tallinn Comedy Festival.
Ah, okay. And it was a few years back. So
right, definitely. Even before pandemic, it hadn't been done for a little while.
I don't think it hasn't been done for a while, yeah.
Right, and I was like, first of all, well, no, I still have an aversion to the F word.
Why?
I think it's overused in Estonian culture.
Yeah, you're right.
I think everything's a festival.
Yeah, you don't need a coffee festival if it's
exactly what I was thinking. A coffee festival as well, right?
Yeah, that's like a day of drinking coffee. I think I don't know. It's even 2 days.
I've got mixed. I think at first I took an anti-stance to festivals because we weren't going to do festivals, and my stance was we do something for comedy 52 weeks a year. We don't need 1 week
of a festival.
We do it constantly 52 weeks around.
It's an ideological point of view too.
Very ideological.
Not call it a festival.
Very Louis Ezrin was very ideological in the beginning.
Yeah.
Less so right now, which is how we've got to. And again, not my decision to make all input, but not my decision anymore, which is good. So we make a Tallinn Comedy Week.
Yeah.
We settle on instead that nobody else can necessarily owns that or has used
that. I think that's good.
Tallinn Comedy Week, it's nice. It's 5 days, now 6 days. I think it's 5 or 6 right now.
I don't know what's happening.
Right, and I appreciate that. So, the Wednesday and the Thursday, I think, was it Popov first and then you?
Yeah.
I think, that's right. Yeah. So you'll keep those days.
Yeah.
And then I think Friday is Best of Vaskaveri, which... you can't be in because you're doing your show the day before. Well, I guess you could be in, but then how much Ann Vaida does everybody?
No, I mean...
So you get your preview. So that's it. A few more slots. And then I think there's an up late and there's a rap battle show as well.
So we've got 5 days already, I think.
Yes, we've got 5 days, yeah. Because I think we weren't going to put anything on, because before Popov, those days before, the Vene Katorikeskas filming for Sugustua.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, so there's no point in doing that at the same day, because like even yesterday and the day before that, like the open mics were really quiet because everyone was probably at Odeon Sugis tour at the same time. So
sure, and the comedians are there as well, and then the fans. And for us as well to run a filming as well, we realized if it was just a Vene show, then maybe that would be okay. But the filming, we know we don't put enough effort in. Usually, it's a much more massive thing on the day that it ends up. So we'll keep one there. So we're coming up there. So you'll get your preview. The price is, I have to say, I think that's being determined by the admin team. That's been worked on. Yeah,
I really love we're having like a business talk.
Yeah, we'll make it
on your podcast.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll let people in. That's what we're trying to tell people about it. So the pricing is that we're also trying to keep it consistent across the different shows. So we had like a 20-minute discussion today whether the cheapest tickets should be €8 or €10.
And then you said, what about VAT?
Oh, right. No. Yeah, okay, sure. I would come in with that, financial shit at the end.
I don't know who does that, but like that would be my first argument for whatever I'm doing. What about VAT?
Oh my God. Have we had this discussion about VAT? Is that why you brought it up?
No.
Okay.
You do that.
I think it is. I think because, I will get back to the Vasco thing. But my thoughts on, to me, it's if I'm working in business with someone, and I see it particularly in entertainment industry, if people say, we're going to, work it through a particular company, or I'm going to deal with that company because they're not VAT registered and I can keep the VAT. Do you know about that? The companies don't have to be.
Who does that?
Right. It's fucking amateur hour.
Why would you do that?
It's way more work.
Ugh.
We've had that. There's.
So someone's told you, I'm not going to work with you. I'm going to have them bill me because they don't have VAT.
Correct. And so that.
But it's also another company who says that. Or it's like private persons.
It was a performer.
But like they also have a company. But they also have a company.
Yeah, sure. They had a company they could work through.
But then they don't have VAT on their company. Then it makes sense, amateur hour.
But it's amateur hour.
Yeah.
Just fucking register for VAT and do it properly.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, if I don't register for VAT and you don't register for VAT, then we're all going to save 20%. I'm like, it's not a scam. The government, you haven't just scammed the government. The government knows. They made the law about having this non-VAT thing. It was meant to help really small companies that you don't have to have this extra expense. But if you try and do anything...
Without I didn't know like people have time for that.
Right. So VAT factor in this. So if you're like, I'm not registered for VAT because I'm saving the 20%. No, that's okay. So ticket prices for your show. So we had like a 20-minute discussion about this. That we know typically we undervalue our ticket prices. We have over the years because we want people to come. We know that needs to go up. We know that we can charge a little bit more and still be fair and not rip people off or something like that. But then the question goes like, should like your preview or even Vascoveri, should that be 8 or 10? And then you think, well, 8. Well, you think like 10. 10's nothing to people these days, but 8, is 8 too much? Is 8 too little? Does the €2 make a difference, or does it make a difference, on average over the whole thing? I don't know. Or are we definitely? What do you think about the difference between 8 and 10?
8 and 10? I have no idea. Cause like, I really don't know. It depends on like what do you.
Sure. And so then do we grade them? Like, do we make in the comedy week, do we make Vascoveri 5, yours 8, something else 10?
That makes no sense as
well. That doesn't make sense. So, and then also I know, and then one of the weird things we have is the Up Late show, and I think to some extent rap battles as well have always been underpriced because it's this like supposed to be like either improvised And we've kind of like, oh no, we can't. And I know a few of the comedians get like, but it's an improvised show. We don't feel good selling it for that.
No, you're selling your skill.
Yeah, you're selling your skill, and
you've been learning this for years.
Yeah.
That's why you can improvise now.
Yeah, and that every time we say that, and every time it's a cracker night. Every night's one, like rap battles and Up Late are some of the best nights that we have. Some of the best like we're creating a show, we're creating an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yes, it is true. Everybody could bomb, but I guess everyone could bomb on any regular comedy night.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I think. So, and it's a concept thing as well. So I think it's like I think shows tend to be. It's more difficult to fail if there's a certain amount of skill and like it's somehow regulated. You know, with Up Late you have like different themes and stuff like that. So it's somehow you have like a concrete structure, so people understand it. So they tend to like follow along much easier. Rap battles is just a weird shit show.
Yes.
And that's why it works. So strange.
You're right. It shouldn't work. It's crazy. It's madness.
How did that start?
I don't know. Just some crazy. We're like, we can do rap battles.
Who did
as well.
that? Like, how? What is that?
What is it? Yeah, we just heard about it. Oh, rap battles. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and
it
then,
was so weird, but it was such a lovely evening. Yeah.
Then with Sander being the host all the time, you know, that kind of helps that hip hop rap hip hop comedy crossover that he brings it in.
He gets to wear clothes he actually likes.
So the tickets, because rap battles was going to be a bit more expensive. We wanted to price that up because that's the crazy night. That's the night everyone's interested in. It's a Saturday night. I
remember last time most people who had purchased the ticket didn't know where they are. Like half the crowd was like, I don't know, I came here, so it's a rap night. Okay, sure. And they loved it. Sander asked at the beginning, and a bunch of people had no idea what they're in for. So they literally purchased the brand, essentially, actually. They saw Comedy Estonia has an event, I'm going to go. Or they were just not paying attention. Or someone else bought their ticket. I don't know. So many options.
But still, it's interesting that people... Yeah, why was it that night was popular? And is it the concept? Is it that it was one of the only shows that actively advertised that like Sander and Ari or some better known comedians were on it? That's a possibility. Because if it's just that, I mean, not everything that Comedy Estonia does sells well either. Because we were also reflecting on last year that even Ardado's preview only got 30 people. Don't want to say bad for your one about how it goes, but
we'll see.
Even Ardado's preview only got 30 people. Last year was a hard sell. Okay, then we reflected on, was last December any worse than this December? Now we're used to it.
I think people don't care anymore. I think there is a difference in that.
Okay.
So I remember, I think even... I think I think it was last year that when my bigger family didn't get together for Christmas, and a lot of people did that last year. I don't think anyone's gonna. No
one gives a shit anymore.
I don't think people care anymore.
So we're hoping maybe that improves the mood.
Yeah, I think so.
People more generally able to come out. So then we think like, well, 10, 10's flat, 10's easy. But then we're like, well, we only sold 30 tickets for Ardado last year. Maybe we shouldn't up the price. And then we go back around in the circle again to like €8, but €8 is too low.
But like 5 is definitely too low.
5's definitely too low. We've agreed on that for any sort of prepaid show. Because even with if it's going to be Best of Vaskavetti, Kaspar's in. Sorry?
5 is still low, I think.
I think it's low. Yeah. I feel like I wanted to price that show at the same as your preview.
Yeah.
Again, I'm worried because it's not like Vaskavetti ever gets large amounts of people. And that's fine. That show's really lovely, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's tremendous.
From any one of the ones I've seen, it's always been a good time. So it's never like failed.
No, and in that room, it works with that 30 people.
Definitely, yeah. I think Von Graal is a great venue for it. So, like, getting it to Odeon, I mean, I don't think there's that big of a difference. But, yeah, it's a great show in the concept that it is, I think, as well.
Hopefully, and I guess the hope is that the idea of making them into a comedy week or festival, if you might want to say, is that then you've got that united marketing around
definitely,
all of them.
Of course, yeah.
To push a little further. So I guess we'll see, but that's the arguments we've been having about ticket price and all this sort of stuff. And especially when you're dealing with such a large group of people who all, they're all artists, they all have not only an opinion, but need to validly, there's a lot of people that need to have a say in all of this. So we got to go around and double check. Especially because, we are taking somebody's name and selling something with somebody's name. So it's associated with them. So, I didn't mean to be like, you don't get no fucking say in your ticket price. No, pardon me. That's not
don't worry
what
about
I meant to
Don't worry
say.
about it.
And indeed, actually, I was, because I think we're going on sale with that show, I think hopefully Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
And I was going to sit down and talk individually with you and with Popov just about what it's like now. I mean, this is a little bit like this is your solo show, right?
Yeah.
It is your show. And now this is the first time that when it's your show, you get a lot more say. And also, I think even still, you need to be a lot more involved. And I realized I didn't do this last year, and I wrote myself a note in December last year to pop up exactly now to remind me that
do it better.
Do it better. And I need to guide you guys, and especially in the middle of a comedy week, who's the project manager, where typically, and again, the Odeon Comedy Week comes in December. We've just finished the autumn tour. We've just finished everything else. And I was like, all right, let's do one more thing. And we noticed over the years, it tends to get lost and a little bit here nor there and not up to our high standards. So I was going to talk to you guys about, and we were like, why didn't the previews work? And again, because they're not used to knowing that they can take more of a control. Or you have to do it, or you can have more input or be more active in communication with the project, whoever from admin to do it. It's your show, right? If there's little things that you might want to change or at least know about or something like that. So we'll talk about that next week.
Lovely.
Well. So how do you feel about that? You're coming up to your first preview. This is the first time sticking that hour. Have you done the hour before anywhere, in anywhere or anything?
No.
Okay.
So that's my main concern is how do you time the hour. I have written it out. It's fine. It's good. It's good. It's really cool. If you look at your old material, like half of it is really bad. You're like, oh God, what? Why? And then the other half, you're like, oh, that was really funny. I have to try that again. There's a bunch of stuff here that at start there's a lot of jokes that I think didn't work out because I wasn't that practiced on stage. So I think it was just my performance. And I've done them again now, and I'm like, oh, this was a good one. So I have a bunch of stuff like that from old times that I've now added there and so on. And so I think the process of writing it is kind of fun. But like, how do you time it? I'm like, I think this takes 3 minutes. This is a 4 minute.
Right.
Altogether, I have 37. So like calculating all of that is like strange. But I'm just gonna write more and then know what I'm gonna finish with and see how packed it gets, and it's gonna be fine.
So there's one little thing that we can do. We can put a clock on the stage, if that helps. If that's a thing, or Sander wants his clock, but other people are happy to just look at their timepiece or something. That's so it's a big thing when you first time you're stepping up to an hour, how to know the length of time we'll go through, because and also in an hour isn't just bang all the way through.
There's like ups and downs and everything, and
right. And you can take in a 5, 10, even 50-minute set, you're not really taking long pauses.
Yeah, that's something I really have to learn, because I tend to be really I tend to not take my time to breathe. But you can't do an hour of that, I think.
And maybe in the bit you can. Sure, then maybe in the bit, you have your style and your tempo and flow through the bit, but then in the middle of the bit, at the end of the bit, we used to do it. I know I've told this story before, but with Sander, because he wasn't very sure of that with his first special. And that's why we put the stool on the stage and we said, okay, Sander, after 20 minutes, you were going to grab the stool and you were going to pull it forward and sit on the stool. And the next bit he's going to do on the stool to physically emphasize for him, right, here's how we're changing gear. That I get it. You get on stage, you want to bang away for 10, 15, 20, whatever it is, to do that. And then you need a break. Audience needs a break. And even if you sit and you don't have to do a bit for a while, you can just talk with them. I mean, if you just killed 15, 20 minutes, you can just sit there and talk with them for a bit, right? You don't need to be, or just, muse or whatever, like blah, blah, blah. You don't have to be like banging them out.
Yeah, there needs to be some cool down moments as well, I think.
Yeah, people are fine to just listen to you for a while, talk about, I'm doing a bit. I'm just telling you something for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I do have an issue with that. I don't know how to do that at all. It's like really difficult for me. I'm like, you're not interested in just talking to me. You want jokes. That's what goes on in my head. I think Dan is really good at just talking to audience members.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he says something like really clever, I think like, wow, that's a skill I do not have.
It's also been a very long, hard road for Daniel.
Yeah,
I know,
well.
Yeah. Like a lot of ups and downs. You've got to accept a very bumpy road, which is going to be some longer periods of many shows where you are down, and then you have faith that you're going to bring yourself and get yourself back up there again. But and I don't expect you to all of a sudden in the preview hour all of a sudden be bringing the stool on the stage and swilling cognac around.
People,
Now listen, after 20 minutes it's Ann's academic hour. I'm going to give you my opinions on literature. No.
Oh wow, No, you're not. You're not getting there.
But sure, that experience of learning when I'm going to have to pull back, and that, you've still got in you a lot, that fear that I need to be saying something all the time, and I need to be working on some funny, like this has to be a funny point all the time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely.
And it's all right. That's what you need to. That's why it's called the preview, to get up there and. How you can learn in the middle. Like, hey, I can let it breathe in the middle. I can take my time a little bit more in the middle of the show, because, I mean, I even tell some of the comedians who are doing Vascavetti for the first time, like, okay, if you got 5 at the front and 5 at the end, you can do anything you want in the middle.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely,
We will not remember the middle part if you bring it back, or just kill the end.
Yeah, that's essential. That's how it goes, the best one in the end and strong one in the beginning.
Yeah, so if you still got some time to use that longer time on stage, if you want to even let it breathe over 15, 20 minutes, sure, add that little gap in the middle. As long as you've got that killer home run, your best stuff, or that you might need to bring it home at the end, and you don't lose them too much or something like that. When you've got some decent home run to roll out, then okay, you can have some fun in the middle.
People do that with 5s as well, I think, if they don't really have material or it's not working. Like, I'm just going to do a really, really clever older one in the end. It's really common.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. Okay, so we got the show coming up. That's exciting. So you write... So most of the material is written out word for word, when you say? Or
No, not really. I used to write it out, just like for sentencing to make sure the sentences are the shortest they can be. But now I can not write all of it out. But I know how long a bit might take, because if I've done it a few times on stage already, then it usually doesn't get shorter. It can get longer with tags and everything. But if I've already said it out a few times, then I know what it is in my head, so I don't have to rewrite it. But it's also sometimes I try to consciously think it through, because if I've done it a few times and it's in my head, then it's not going to change, and that's an issue, because material should be for making it better and so on. So
So it could add with tags, but you don't. So your kind of situation where you're at right now is that once you've sort of written those lines, they tend to stay.
Yeah, they tend to stick, and it's really weird. But so I have to consciously look at them and think like, this here could be better. So I often do that. I sometimes I write something and I just write the joke here, which is turns out that's comedy, I guess. I don't know if anyone else does that, but a lot of my texts when I write it through. And then I see like, okay, so here I'm saying 4 sentences, there's no punchline. And then I just, in between those 4, in the middle, I write punchline.
Yep. That's a great way to.
It's very technical, I think.
Sure. Yeah. I think sometimes, well, I don't know. Some people just are. I think it has to be. There are those, I suspect that those who don't do that are the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Like Sander's ability to just have like one word on his one word is like 15 minutes for that guy.
Yeah.
And he will have an idea, then go out into the back of his house, chop wood for half an hour, and he'll come back with that bit kind of set in his head.
Yeah.
That's definitely exception, not the rule. I used to help people out by one trick, very similar to what you just said, was take the text and highlight where the punchlines are. Because then that very visually shows you. If you got a big gap without a highlighted part,
it's the same thing. Yeah, essentially.
It's the same thing. We've got to pare it down to, or either get rid of that or put a joke in the middle of it.
Yeah, either shorten it or figure it out. Yeah, I do sometimes, and then I like the chopping wood thing. I do a similar thing when I keep it in my head, and then I like either clean the house or something. With okay, so I have to figure this out, do something else, and think about it at the same time. It's a good way to focus on it, I think.
Okay.
Oh.
Train and bus rides do that for me.
Yeah.
They're just enough stimulation to make me not want to check my phone every 20 seconds, but not enough that it overwhelms me that I can actually think. Maybe even a bus ride through the city, can't do that. Too much stimulation. But I'm talking about highway cycle, the train down to the country, the bus down that.
So Barbara says I have a face when I think about jokes. So I'm just like, and she looks at me and says, you're thinking of a joke right now. And I'm like, yes.
Don't drag me out.
Yeah. So she knows that she sees the face I do, and she knows that she shouldn't disrupt me that much because I'm not gonna focus on whatever she's saying right now, anyways. Because I'm, yeah.
It's good. It's good that she recognizes that. It's tough, because you're in your zone, right? You're thinking of that. You're like, this is it. This is the moment. I'm like,
Yeah, and she says, like, whenever she comes to an open mic with me, she only will come when I'm on the first half. Because otherwise I'll be making that face before it's my time. So if I'm in the second half, it's no fun for her because I'm constantly like looking into a corner thinking about how this line could be better or something.
Yeah, it's a bit, that's... taking a significant other or even a date or maybe even a partner that you haven't been with for a long time to a show.
Oh no,
it's not
horrible idea
because you have no time for them, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And why? Yeah, no.
Because at first it seems like, oh, cool, yeah, come and see my... And I think they need to know as well, because I think also partners need to... At first they might just think, oh, you just fuck around and get on the stage and it's fun and there's a bit of work, but no, it's not like, this is going to be stressing me all afternoon and all through I'll probably have to do the setup and then, the nervousness, and then I'm going to want to hang out the backstage. So maybe bring a friend. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the best idea, I think.
Do you have, I guess, how do you feel the progression is through Comedy Estonia shows and I guess stand-up in general? Because it's a tough time right now. Like, I have lost the ability to do long-term planning. After 2 years of trying to like keep us going, and I've lost the ability to think like, oh, what something's going to be like in 1 or 2 years. And maybe some people who have regular day jobs, they can start to see that regularity happening again because their work is fairly stable. But our work is so unstable. And I think I cracked about a week and a half ago because I think in the space of like 3 days, the government was like, there's going to be restrictions. No, we're not having restrictions. And then the third day, they made an actual restriction, which was 1,000 people restriction.
Yeah.
And I think that cracked me. Like, I was like, I can't deal, because you're trying to make these long-term plans for your business and for all the people around you. And the government's literally changing. I didn't think Suga's tour was going to happen.
Neither did I, yeah. I thought it would get cancelled just about the 20th or something, yeah. But apparently we've been really good. R is going down. I guess that's important. Which is strange. I didn't think it's going to... Because the restrictions, there aren't that many. But like, what happened? Is it Kõlvart shutting down the schools, or I don't know, because I've been trying to figure out what is the thing that happened.
Okay.
So I don't,
Because we stopped letting unvaccinated people into events.
Yeah, it's that. Then there's masks.
Okay, masks are back.
And Kõlvart didn't allow kids to go to school. And bars close at 23. So like what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know, but like possibly all of them at the same time. So I did think, it's gonna close down. I don't think it's that bleak that you should stop making any plans at all. But I know, like, working in culture, like in any way right now is really difficult. I think I don't know.
I can just feel how I feel like it's affected me slowly but surely over time that and then little things. Okay, other little things that played into it was that Australia only just reopened the borders. I can now go back to Australia.
I know Justin wrote about it in Instagram, the guy who took the cats away, you have no idea.
No, who? Oh,
you don't know the cat drama?
Oh no, but is that Justin, the Australian guy?
Yeah, the stripper guy.
The stripper guy. Yeah.
There's someone will fill you in.
Okay, I'm gonna know the rest because I don't know. We were talking about in the last podcast that why is there 4 Australians? There's like
who are the other 2?
There's at least 4 Australians involved in entertainment here. So what's his name? What was his name? I don't know. Justin. See, again, I was just like the social media stripper guy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Who you else might say? Dan from Heldecker.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, person in entertainment in Estonia. Yeah. And then also the other day, I met this dude, Peter Pax. So he's this Australian dude who's been here. He said on and off for the last 2 years. I'm like, how did that work? But okay. I presume Estonian girlfriend, but he's a magician.
Oh, okay.
So he was doing I was at an event, we were pre-filming like a virtual thing, and he was doing his magic act as part of the private event. So he's doing a private, he's getting some work.
So you've covered like, what you need another musician as well, but then you're in all parts of entertainment.
Then we got a band,
think.
Why is it? There's not 4 New Zealand guys here or 4, name any other country that's got 20 million people. I don't know why, or maybe just because I notice, but.
I don't know any others as well.
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
So the cats, entertainment industry, it's tough. It has destroyed my long-term thinking because Australia, I was like, when am I even going to get to go home? And now I can go home. I'm like, it takes a lot of money. I don't know if I want to go home. For 2 years, I've been like, I can't go home. I got to go home.
Yeah.
Oh my God, now I'm like,
I think that's it makes sense though that if you can't do something, you're constantly thinking about it, and then when you can, you're like, I didn't really want to.
So I have trouble now to plan a bit further, but again, thankfully we've got good colleagues who do know how to plan that. I can just it's even seeped into my personal life that I'm like, there's nothing beyond 3 to 6 months.
It's the same for me. I think for anything really. We haven't traveled for a while because if you buy a plane ticket, you don't know what's going to happen in 2 months. Just having a ticket doesn't mean anything, and I can't be bothered with changing it and cancelling it and everything. So we did I think I booked an Airbnb for Eurovision in Italy. So that's the only travel plan we've done in 2 years.
When is that?
It's in May in 2022.
All right. We want to hope things are okay by May in Europe.
Yeah.
It's not too unreasonable to think that might
people
be okay.
go to Italy right now all of the time. So I think hopefully we'll see.
Okay. And so I guess coming back to my original question then, and we wrap up soon. How do you what do you feel about the progression of your career and the options that are, let's say, that Comedy Estonia can offer, but not just like, what do you think of Comedy Estonia, but just like the comedy in Estonia, what this scene can provide you, what the country's culture scene can provide you, and is it, this is a really vague question, but is the future kind of clear for you what you need to do as a comedian or as an entertainer to progress, or is it, I don't know. It's a really weirdly worded question, I think. But do you have some thoughts around the state of your career as an entertainer in Estonia and where you were coming from and where you're going to?
I think it's a difficult question. So I mean, it would be really cool to do this as a job, you know. But how does this make money? I have not figured that out. Like how do all of those guys survive?
Sure.
So yeah, but I think in that sense it's I really like doing stand up. Which is a good place to start if you're speaking about a career.
Sure.
And if you ask what do I need to do, it's sell tickets essentially. That's good for me.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a boring answer.
It's all right. It's just I mean, it's an industry. It's still an industry. It's still a thing you got to work. Okay. And sell tickets. So you asked the question, how do those guys survive? Well, some of them sell tickets. Some of them do private shows as well. And this very rightly comes to the topic of, well, there's already a bunch of comedians doing privates. And that can grow, sure, you know, and particularly that we would like to be able to sell more female comedians. There is a demand for that. Sometimes people, like Christina gets so upset. Some people come along and go, no, not having a woman comedian.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, that happened to me.
Oh, really?
When I was already, Klaus was sick and me and Carl went to replace him. And the company said, we don't want a woman, just Carl, please.
And we're like, it's free. I think there was one we were like, hey, it's free. I think it was maybe with Tatiana. They didn't know it was Tatiana, but we're like, hey, we'll just offer 5 minutes, no charge to you. It's just better to do a warm-up.
And they were like, no.
What? But look, and then other people are, you know, we would like to.
But I think there's a whole bunch of people who want it.
I think there is. I think there's many more than that. I just focus on that one example.
And I think it's the same with. Just the general audience who wants to go to a show. I think there are people who want something different, and I do know that all of the guys do different comedy. They all have different styles and different personas and so on. But they're still guys. They're all. It's
fair. It's a fair. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think there's definitely a bunch of people who don't want that, and it's.
I think that's absolutely fair. Absolutely understandable. Look, it's not often that the word. Well, Estonia is associated with wants diversity.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But in this case, yes.
So yeah, I think there's definitely a gap in the market there. It's good. Being a woman is a niche that can sell, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully some privates, and I know Christina's really happy with the work you've been doing for those. And then we see over time, can you sell tickets? And no doubt, as you know, that's partially our job, and it's also partially your job.
Yeah.
As well. I saw you had that. There was an article on you somewhere online last week. I saw.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that one come about? How did they?
She just wrote to me. I said, "Hey, I want to do an article with a female comedian."
Right.
I said, "Yes, please use that exact phrasing." No, I didn't. I hoped she wouldn't, but I knew that's the angle, so. Doesn't matter.
Didn't they? I didn't quite catch the full part of this, but they changed the headline.
Yeah.
Is that normal, or is that?
No, I don't know. Changing headlines is definitely normal.
Okay.
And I don't know. It happens like sometimes the editor who looks through it puts a headline in, and then the author says like, "Hey, I don't like this headline." So I don't know what happened. I didn't ask. But the one they changed it to was more boring. So I would have made a different choice there myself. But I mean, it's their job. They did what they wanted to.
Sure. I didn't want to sound like it was some conspiracy theory happening under the surface.
No, it's usually someone says like, this headline doesn't work for me either because it's boring, or the journalist themselves says like, the one you had is too scandalous. This is not what my story is about. Change it back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So what you are doing as well is you're doing some stuff for yourself, right? You've got to do. I think now in 2021, if you're coming up as a stand-up in Estonia, it can't just be just about the stand-up anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think it can, look, you've got to focus on that, but do something else as well. Be somewhere else in the media, and I think that's through other things you do, and there's articles about you and your own work. I think that's people are starting to learn who this Ann Vaida person is, and that's good, right? It's not just there's only so much promotion that we can give or exposure at just our shows. There's a bit where you have to do some part for yourself too, and then it's the combination of what we do as well as what you do, and then that brings it together. So, all right. So we're getting somewhere with this. You're okay right now? Like it's progressing, and
I'm having fun.
All right, good.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing I enjoy so much. It's weird. I've had proper jobs. I've had many different proper jobs, and I think I'm just speaking jokes to a bunch of strangers in a bar is so much more fun than proper jobs.
And I think as well that kind of blended career that I think the best example is Sander, that we will never have another Sander, that he could just come along for like the first 5 years and just do stand-up. That's all he would ever do. Not even a podcast, not even nothing, just stand-up. And it worked. But I don't think that's going to work for the next generation of our stand-up comedians to rise up. There's going to be
there's a bunch of people who also like do whatever entertainment, and then they also like write not only sketches but also TV shows and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of people who use that creative skill in some form of entertainment at the same time. Yeah, so that's really.
Yeah, I think as well, not only is that a reality of the industry, but there's going to be a market capsize at some stage. Like how many professional stand-up comedians just can the 1 million people in Estonia actually support?
Yeah.
And I don't know where that is. Now, okay, we've still got a way to grow, sure. There's still more privates that we can do, sure. So I'm not saying we're at that limit yet, but it's Estonia. There's always a limit.
There is a limit, definitely, yeah.
So I think there's still some opportunities. And I don't think it doesn't mean there's not room for other comedians to come up. Not at all. There's still plenty of room. But I understand, like, okay, of course, Carl and Ardo and those guys, they're the first choice for privates because they've been doing it for a long time. So we've got to try and grow that business a bit. All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay, then.
Cool. Anne, thank you very much for coming in. It was a nice chat.
Thank you. It was really cool. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.